Hey there, Chubs fans! Welcome to another fabulous episode of Chubs Gone Wild. This is episode 383, recorded on February 22nd, 2021, where it is currently 68 degrees and sunny outside the Chubs Gone Wild studios, where, as Tom just pointed out, everything is blooming. Blooming, 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 which means allergies. Yay.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Why is there a healthy salad picture for Chubb's Gone Wild now?
Actually, it's not. Well, I guess you could. Yeah, it could be healthy, but no, it's got
Vegetables.
meats and cheeses and onions, and if you expand it, it's got all sorts of. It's basically like a huge buffet of stuff that you put into tacos and fajitas and stuff. And look, I think there's chips there.
I
Are
see
those chips?
nothing.
No, that's some artichoke hearts actually. I don't like the beets.
There's no beets.
There are, you have to scroll down for, well, picture
Sorry, I
doesn't
don't
scroll.
get
Oh,
the
and there's
scroll
green
down.
beans. Oh, yeah, this is not. But no, I just thought it was colorful and fun, and it had food in it.
Well, this is that kind of food.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, let's stick to the cheese and the meat over here on the
I
side.
don't have any cheese.
Oh my God,
I've got
no!
broccoli, olives, tomatoes. I've got
Oh,
some mushrooms. There's some peppers, some garbanzo beans. I'm pretty sure those are green
yeah,
onions.
you got like the straight middle of the
Yeah,
thing. No,
corn
on
and
the sides, there's
red
all the good
beans.
stuff.
And
Mm.
not good red beans that have been soaking in bacon grease and
Oh yeah, those are like kidney beans.
ugh.
Well, that aside, it is 251 days till Halloween. We gotta get us going. It's like 100 days down already. All right, and also 306 days till Christmas, and only 23 days, just 23 days until St. Patrick's Day, where we Americans bastardize the Irish.
Where's Easter?
Easter is April, early April, something. I'll have to look that up and add it because it's actually not too far away. Of course, in the stores, Easter's been out for a month, so whatever. So today we celebrate some fabulous holidays, including Be Humble Day. Can you just be humble? Why? Also, European Day for Victims of Crime, George Washington's birthday. Really? I thought we already did that one.
His real birthday.
Oh. Also, National Cook a Sweet Potato Day. No, thank you. Margaritas. Oh, I think I have the stuff to make margaritas. Also, wildlife, play more cards, recreational sports and fitness, scouts, founders, walking the dog, and World Thinking Day. Have you thought today?
Um, I'm thinking right now about something.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Is he just a couple feet away from you in his underwear?
No,
Okay.
he's at work.
Oh, he
No,
is.
what I'm thinking about is, oh, look at
Is
that.
that one of the girls?
Well, this is after I've hacked them up and harvested
Ooh,
them yesterday. I sound like a
wow.
serial killer. Um, these are all these little bunches here are the flowers, and
Wow.
these are leaves that are kind of saggy now because of um, they have been trimmed for a couple days now, so the leaves are withered. But now, as the process goes, the flowers will start to dry, and
Mm.
then everything will be removed from the stems after about a week and separated into flowers and shake. Shake would be anything that's um,
Like
not
you?
flowers,
Okay.
not stem, not flowers.
Oh,
But these things were huge. Look at this thing.
yeah,
How
that's
huge it is.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Unfortunately, it smells like we've had an exchange with about a family of skunks in the house.
Ah,
Yeah, the girls are like teenage boys,
Mm,
You know, you don't go into their room because it's stinky.
yes.
Unfortunately, when we have the whole house fan or the heater on, it pushes the air out from their room, and all of a sudden you're like going skunk.
Ah, yeah, my mom always said that she thought pot smelled like skunk.
Well, and the thing is, when you're driving around and you're like driving through a neighborhood, and all of a sudden you go, "Oh, skunk!"
Yeah.
That's usually somebody growing weed in their backyard.
Interesting to know. Well, today's affirmation: I allow my body, mind, and emotions to relax today. Oh yeah, it's a good one for a Monday, right? Not to
Oh, is it
mention,
Monday?
you know, right? Can you see the little kitties? Oh, little meow meows. Oh, so cute.
They look evil. What are you talking about?
Oh, they're relaxing. They
Relaxing? No,
just have resting.
they're plotting,
They have resting cat face.
your death.
Yeah. Oh, sweet kitties. Anyway, well, Patreon offers a way for supporters to support creators and receive rewards not open to the general public, like special podcasts, videos, books, and more. And we want to thank our current patrons: Clint, Nephi, Nick, DJ Starsage from the Univaz, Timothy, Eric, Juan Carlos, Brother Sinatus, Phoenix Dave, and Moose P. So please visit patreon.com/MattBurleyGame and become a patron for as little as $1 a day, or $1 a day, $1 a month. A month, people. A month. That's less than 3 cents a day, kind of.
No, you have to do it like they do in the commercials for Shriners Hospital, St. Jude's, ASPCA, all of those commercials that make you cry in between.
Yes, yes.
You know, newscasts. Yeah.
And then there's like, for as little, remember the Sally Field commercials?
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
For as little as a cup of coffee. And it's like, where do you go? Because down here, that's a hell of a lot of money.
Well, and always it's like, you know she's ready to go. There are flies on the children's eyes.
Right. Well,
yeah.
I used to make a joke about when they did those commercials and they'd show like the little baby like standing in knee deep in mud and sobbing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why don't you walk your ass over there and pick up the little baby and put him out of the mud?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Whatever.
Yeah. Right. Well, the same thing with the dog commercials, because they go, these dogs are freezing. I'm like, well, put them in the car.
I know.
Put them on the heater.
Give them a blanket. You're right there.
I mean, you're obviously filming them freezing and shaking. And by the way, any dog that's like this big is already shaking, whether it's cold or not.
Mm-hmm. But that's one of the things I donated to the pet things a couple times on like the Facebook. So now every freaking ad that I see, it's like, oh, Nessa's happy about her tests. Oh, Mark and Ed are happy about something they sold in their store. And oh, look, oh my God, that poor little dog. Like every other post is a sponsorship for some poor little animal.
Well, what I'm hating now is that every week they're picking out people on your Facebook page who have a birthday coming up going, oh, don't you want to get them the special gift? Send them a gift card. Here,
yeah.
And it started off with a friend of mine who just died. Oh, send them a gift card. It's like, really? This thing has already backfired on week 1. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we had speaking of, we're about to do birthdays. Mr. Michael Sage's birthday was yesterday.
Yes, I know. He's a gift card person.
No, I didn't.
No, but he was the guy that was my gift card this week.
Oh, what? Oh, okay, I get it. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't send him a gift card, but every week one of the people comes up for the week and says, "Oh, their birthday's coming up. Send them a gift card to Taco Bell." It's like, I like that person.
It wouldn't be to Taco Bell. Maybe KFC. Ugh. But no, I did send him a card though because you know it's Mr. Michael Sage.
Actually, at Taco Bell, there's the nacho cheese fries. Bel Grande is excellent.
You know, I have actually not had any Taco Bell in probably, I'm going to say several years at least. And before that, several years from that too. And when I worked at Mom, Guess What? We used to get Taco Bell like practically 3 times a week, if not more. Yeah, it's really something. But I'm over it.
Run for the border and then run for the bathroom.
Pretty much. And I used to, back when I ate fast food a lot and I was younger, I didn't have, I was all like, that's such bullshit. And I think the last time that I actually did eat it after not having it for a while, that's exactly what it did, girl. I was out of there. All right. Hey, upcoming birthdays. We got that Dean from the Up. So we love the Dean. Also, that fabulous choreographer Daryl, local boy. IJ. We got Q, who we used to do the radio show with. Huh?
You have me?
Q.
Me?
Q. U, like the letter. Avenue Q.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
He used to be the sound guy for when we did the radio show.
Oh, okay.
So,
right.
Who and thankfully was quick on the button the time that we had one of the hosts say some dirty words. We also got Michael, Daryl, Patrick, the fabulous Patrick Plain. We got Bryce. Hey, Bryce. Happy birthday. Ronnie, Christopher. Hi, Christopher. Paul, Dylan, Shelly, Robert. Would that be that Auntie Cruiser? Also Marshall, David, and Rachel. And you know, Rachel is Marsha's daughter, who turned out so much cooler than her mom. So much cooler. But I'll tell you, it's a weird thing. They both get to midlife and suddenly they're lesbians. Is that in the blood? Is that a thing? I don't understand.
I don't know.
All right. Well, what we got coming up next, we got some chub hugs. Do you have any chub hugs that you would like to send out?
Well, this week, no. I was unprepared with chub hugs. Although I would like to thank any part of my brain that will let me sleep. Because for some reason, well, actually, I kind of know the reason. Even as a kid, I think too much when I lay down.
Yes.
I mean, a couple days ago, I was sitting there trying to figure out the fourth verse of Cats in the Cradle.
Cats in the Cradle with the silver spoon.
No, don't want to pay for that. But the fourth verse that starts out, I long since retired, my sons moved away. I forgot. I'm like, how do we get to that fourth verse? And why didn't he call his son?
All right.
And, you know, and then I'm sitting there and lying in bed thinking this for an hour, trying to figure out. Finally got up, looked up the lyrics, and went, "Oh, that's it," and then laid down, and then I thought of something else for an hour. So it's for those out there that are experiencing insomnia, and the weird thing is, I used to get high, and that used to eliminate the voices in my head. But for some reason, it only lasts for about 2 hours, and then I'm wide awake.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I used to end up trying to sleep and then ended up having like whatever story I was working on. Suddenly I would think of all sorts of plot points and character things and stuff, and I'd be like, I can't sleep.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Or when you're actually involved in whatever you just watched on television.
Yes.
Part of your dream. But the funny thing is, for me, it was never porn. Not that I watch a lot of porn, but it was never anything dirty. It was always like, oh, look, I'm in Modern Family. I'm in I Love Lucy. Oh, look, there's the Brady's. It was weird. And I'm never in the show. I'm like, oh, I live across the street from the Dunphys on Modern Family,
Uh,
or something like that, where I'm not really a part of the actual storyline, but yet I can't get out of the fucking storyline.
mhm.
Yeah.
Or for me, it tends to be the characters become enmeshed in what I'm doing. Like last night, the I binge watched for the last 2 days. I binge watched the 100, the final season of it. And last night, like I swear, half my dreams were just interacting with those characters. But it's usually on my plane. I'm not on their plane. Airplane.
Okay.
Anyway. Okay, and also I want to send a big chub hug out to Christian, who's still we're still waiting to find out a little bit more about how his operation is doing. But there's a lot of people out there right now who need big chub hugs, so they get them. Anyway, let's check in and see what Tom did in the last few days.
Oh, let's see what Tom did in the last few days. Okay. Move there, move here. Besides, of course, harvesting the girls,
Uh-huh.
hacking up their bodies and hanging them up in the closet in the second bedroom. I know I'm going to get like the feds in here going, "Where are the girls? Where are they?" You know,
it's legal.
No, I know, but they're going to think I'm talking about like real little.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
But I'm not. I'm not talking about real little girls. It was the strangest group of plants, though. Not one of them looked like they belonged to the same family.
Huh.
Yet they all produce the same flowering, but one was overly leafy. One had almost no leaves on it. One was short, and the other one was so heavy with flowers that it was falling over in the last 3 weeks of its existence.
Wow.
So it was weird. Anyway, a lot of things, a lot of cancellations. Actually, they're not cancellations. The TV show Mom, the TV show Superstore, the TV show Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Mhm.
This is their last season.
Oh,
Their
wow.
choice. It's their choice. And let's face it, they're all, I mean, the women in Mom, you got people who can probably do more work than just do a sitcom. And the same thing like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, you got a lot of leads in there that probably want to branch out and do other things now that they're kind of big time celebrities.
Yeah.
So, and the sad part about Superstore was that when America Ferrera was on it, she was like the lead character, and also she was like the most boring character because everybody in Superstore is eccentric, and she was like the normal one who kind of everything moved around.
Mhm.
But it's like I want to see crazy on that store. I don't want to see normal. And so now that they finally got the opportunity to just go wild with it, they're canceling. They're quitting. But I think it's been 6 or 7 years for that show as well. I can't believe it got past one. Let's see. But Mr. Merrick is coming up on its last episode next week. But it was renewed, so that one taken care of. RuPaul this week they did the a rusical, which is where they do a musical drag show, and they bring in all these different characters that the different girls play. And it depends, like whatever the storyline is, it's always fun. It runs about 10 minutes long, and I'm thinking now that they've got the RuPaul experience in Vegas, they can tag these shows in right away. And I think that the people watching the shows are probably going to get a kick out of it to actually see one of the musicals on stage.
Right.
So I think it's a real smart move, and I hope they're doing that once they get back in Vegas and running the show again. Still fun show. This week they had the chance to get rid of like the character that everyone's really not liking.
Mhm.
But then Rue at the end goes, "I haven't seen enough of you. Shantae, you stay too." And I'm like, no, let her go, she's horrible. But she's one of those characters that loves to bitch to the camera. So, producers are like, you can't let her go. You can't let her go. She's gold for us.
Yeah.
I'm watching on Apple TV a show that we didn't watch last season, but now that season 2's here, we're watching season 1. It's called Dickinson, and this is about Emily Dickinson. It's a half-hour comedy placed in the 1800s, and it's weird because they have no electricity, they have no running water, and but
So it's like Texas.
well, oh, that's not fun. So they, but it's watching how, it's everything's realistic. The dialogue is a little modern, and whenever they add music, it's always modern. Like if for instance she's decided that she's going to do something that she was told not to do, in the background you'll hear she's got the power, that kind of stuff. Instead of, and like they had a party because the parents were out of town, so they had a party and they're doing the minuet to like Daft Punk music. So it's interesting. It's kind of fun. Yeah, so we're still watching it, so I'm kind of intrigued by it. The new show Clarisse, which is the Silence of the Lambs kind of takeoff that they're not takeoff, but Silence of the Lambs, where they're taking her character and showing what happened to her after the Buffalo Bill situation. And so far it's kind of interesting. They keep trying to make it. They keep trying to make it out that she's there strictly for serial killers, but then there was a militia group up in like West Virginia where she's from, so she went in there and she was like helping out with that too. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with this. I'm sure it's probably only 10 episodes because that seems to be where a lot of these networks are going with at least their first season of stuff. I'm actually looking forward to them to bring back Evil. I figured have Evil and Clarisse on back to back. That would be way fun. And Evil, by the way, if you want to catch up on season 1, you can find that on Netflix. Totally good show. If you like X-Files and scary kind of network shows, this was a good one. And then WandaVision this week, all of a sudden Agnes, who's played by Kathleen Kahn, the next door neighbor, she's kind of the Gladys Kravitz character. Well, all of a sudden she comes out as a witch, and she's been controlling everything all this time, supposedly.
Wow.
Although we know that Wanda's controlling everything. I'm confused. But, they're keeping it interesting. They're keeping it constantly changing to where every week you go, I don't know where these people are going with this, which is not a bad thing. I've seen too many shows where it's like, oh my God, I can tell you where season 8's going to be on this, series. And this one, I don't know where episode 8's going to be. So that's good. 2 new shows on NBC. Kenan Thompson's new show, where he's playing a newscaster, a morning newscaster. He goes, I don't care who you slept with last night, but you're waking up to Kenan, which sounds a lot like something I wrote a few years ago. Wording's a little bit different, but same kind of thought process behind it. And it's got a lot of funny people. Fortune Feimster plays the sportscaster, so she's very dykey, but instead of she's naturally got very curly hair, kind of like Brian does, except here she's either straightened it or she's wearing a wig, but it's hilarious. And then you've got a good cast, including Don Johnson. Don Johnson plays Kenan's father-in-law. So we really enjoyed the first episode. It's from Lorne Michaels. So usually that's
he's usually.
Usually the writing is going to be good. So at least then the Rock new show, Rock, where he plays. It's kind of like Everyone Hates Chris, that from a few years ago with the Chris Rock story, and it's kind of feels like that. Except this one, The Rock is running for president in 2032, and he's talking to a newscaster kind of giving a history of his life, and I think that's the narrative is going to be him thinking back and waxing on different parts of his life. So we'll see what happens. Watched 3 movies this week. Irresistible, which is Steve Carell, where he plays a campaign guy, basically for the Democrats. And what he does is he goes around the country and looks for like Democrats who might be good on a national level. So, get them in the mayorship, and then all of a sudden take them from there to senator or governor, and bringing in, real charismatic people. And then, of course, what happens is he goes in and finds this guy in Wisconsin, and then the Republicans come in and they run the guy who's running against him to make sure he fails. And it's kind of the beginning's kind of fun and silly because it's watching this classic culture fish out of water story, but then the ending just sucked. I also watched Judas and the Black Messiah, which is a Oscar contender from Warner Brothers. It's on HBO Max. By the way, Irresistible was on HBO Max as well. This one is about the FBI hiring a guy to infiltrate the Black Panthers, kind of giving them a step up on what's going on with the Panthers, finding what they're doing before they actually do it, to try to bring down the Black man, basically. And but it's based on a true story. The acting's really good. I found the movie terribly, terribly slow, and I can't say it was hard to watch. Mostly, I just didn't want to watch. The ending gets better, but the beginning is just kind of like, okay, we got the main source. He wants to infiltrate the Black Death. Okay, well, let's see what happens. And that's how it kind of felt. And then finally, Nomads Land, which is the new movie from Frances McDormand.
Yeah.
Frances McDonald. The girl who's in Fargo.
Mm-hmm.
So she plays a widow who travels around in her van along with all of these people in RVs and vans and tents, and they're not homeless people. They're just without a home. So they travel around. They go and do odd jobs so they can live their lifestyle in these.
Be nomadic.
Yeah. So it's oddly enough, it was kind of a compelling show to watch. It's very independent in the sense that it's paced thoughtfully and very original. But it's not. I never found myself bored at all. Which I thought when I watched the preview, I'm like, I'm going to kill myself halfway through this movie. I just know it.
See, I kind of wasn't sure about it either, but actually I think it was Michael Sage watched it last night, and he said he absolutely loved it.
Yeah, it's just interesting. And then American Idol this year just started up. They're in week 2, so you can watch that also on Hulu if you've missed it. And they are bringing in some very, very interesting contestants. You're watching it going, wow. I mean, that American Idol, because, well, first of all, they're really pushing towards getting away from the white kids.
Good.
Yeah. And I don't know how else to put it, but it's just, you're going to have to be extra good to get on the show. And there's a lot of African Americans and Hispanics, and they've got some the brother and sister that came in from Hawaii. So it's all very mixed, and just some of them were like, wow, I'd love to hear them do more music. So that's the kind of stuff I always liked about American Idol that I never got from The Voice, which was, why are we watching The Voice? Okay. Other than that, that's about it for me.
Okay. Well, I will kick off my week with the mom update. She is determined that she wants to get the heck out of there and get home. And I actually think it will only be actually not too much longer before she actually is home. So that will be pretty good. And yes, that will be good. Last romance. So as I said last episode, the advanced reader editing copies are out among 3 or 4 people. We did get one patron who claimed their copy of it, and thank you for that. All of our patrons will get the final versions when that is ready. However, I still could use a few more people to just, do editing copies. So if you're interested in getting that at all, just let me know, and we'll talk and make sure that that's something you really want to do. But let's see. Other than that, I have been scanning in old journals from like 1976, 76. I was too young to write. 1996, 1997, that era, and in some ways finding that how do I say it? So finding that there are even more things that I'm remembering from those journals of why I don't like certain people, and why there's such a rift between us. Anyway, let's see. So that's been fun. I watched the latest episode of Call Me Cat, and it was actually really good, and it made me laugh. I don't know whether they're finally hitting their writing stride, probably right before they're going to get canceled. But I was like, wow, if you had had at least this level of writing from the start, this would have been a good show. So I don't know if they can pull it out. I don't know, but we'll see. Let's see, Lucifer. So I finished watching all the episodes of the final season of Lucifer on Netflix, and I was just like coming, you guys got to wrap it up here. You guys got to wrap it up. You only got like 3 more episodes. You got to wrap it up. And then at the very last part of it, the last episode where it was like, you got all this stuff that's totally unanswered. And then it flashed at the very end to more episodes coming. So I'm like, oh, well, all right then. But again, a really good season. Although I'll tell you, there was a point where lately some of these shows just have the sloppiest writing. It's like I just felt like screaming at them. These characters would not act this way. They've been through 4 or 5 seasons already of shit to where like suddenly now you're making them act like they just met, and I don't know. I hate inconsistent writing when you get to a point where the characters have spent 4 seasons getting to trust each other, implicitly, and they're going along and everything, and then just like they don't, just all of a sudden in a season they just stop communicating. It makes no fucking sense. So,
well, the famous line from Rosencrantz and Guildenstern is Dead, which is, consistency is all I ask, immortality is all I seek.
yes, there you go. That is a better line. That pretty much says it. It's the consistency of the characters. If you're going to have them fight or get angry at each other or break up or whatever the hell they're going to do, then you need to make it consistent with something big enough and important enough, other than like high school kissy drama shit that was out the window 3 seasons ago.
Right.
So anyway, but I am looking forward to more from Lucifer. And then I started watching Amazing Race. I watched season 1 and part of 2, and I know that I've seen these before, but it's been so long that I really didn't remember hardly any of it, other than a few of the contestants that were on it. And season 1, so not Jeff Probst, he's Survivor.
Phil something.
Yes, Phil Crumpler. No, so Phil, it was funny because in season 1 he was barely there. Basically, he just kind of stood there and said, "You're team number 1." Like nowadays in the Amazing Race, he's all like, "Oh, I'm afraid to tell you that you're team number 2 and you have been eliminated from the race." And he just goes on and on. And back then, he just kind of stood there and said, "You're team number 1," and he had an Australian accent that he doesn't have anymore. But he was really cute. So that was nice. Anyway, I'm enjoying it, but I'm kind of bouncing back. I still haven't gotten back to Survivor. 3 seasons of that in a row was just enough to like, and there's still like 20 seasons left.
Well, there's a reason why people don't binge shows, and that's because after a while they ruin it for themselves. You like to do that. You like to do that. You like to ruin everything.
I like binging things. I like getting it done.
Yeah.
I like it. If a series is ended, there were 5 seasons, I'm like, I can get that done, then I don't even have to think about it again.
Well, we have a whole sheet cake, and nobody else in the house likes sheet cake, so I'm going to have to binge it just so it doesn't go bad.
Wait. No, I'm rejecting that. We've had at least like 9 seasons of Chubs Gone Wild. You have to do better than that, girl. So there's Amazing Race, and also I watched the last season of the 100.
It's on your list. Why do you make it look like you're trying to remember something?
Well, because I'm trying to remember
why I put this down, because nobody cared.
I'm sorry for you talking. But so it is the final season though. There are not going to be any more. And Tom is applauding for anyone that can't see it, and I'm kind of like applauding his applauding.
Why it's still on, I don't know.
What's that?
I mean, I gave up after like episode 6.
I can see why. I mean, I like it because I'm familiarized with the characters, and when there's nothing else on, I'm like, oh, I'll just go ahead and, that's 13 episodes I can knock out in a day or two. But the final season, there really is like, they've got stuff that's interesting and stuff that is so not interesting. And why the fuck they're bothering with all the other stuff unless it's just to fill time on the episode, I don't fucking know. But then they get to like episode, say, 8, 9, 10, and there's like 13 or 14 episodes or something like that. And all of a sudden they introduce this complete new storyline from out of left field, from way back in the timeline through another source that's completely different, and it is pretty much more interesting than anything going on in the rest of the season. So I don't know, but if you like the 100, you will like season 8. You probably already watched season 8 or say season 7. But I'm watching it, and yeah, I'm looking forward to being done, although it's not horrible. All right. Fat Marker wants to remind us to be loud, be proud, be too much, and to be you. Fat Marker Clothing wants those of us who have been told that we are too much of something to turn those negatives into positives. And Chubs Gone Wild listeners can do that with the code FMWildChub to get 20% off anything while ordering over at fatmarkerclothing.com. So go over there, check them out, order something pretty for yourself or your partner. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on into advice then. This, of course, comes from Dear Prudy over at slate.com. Go check them out. Support them, maybe subscribe or something. All right. All right. I have a bi-weekly Zoom call. Let me start again. I have bi-weekly Zoom calls with my partner's family. I also tend to feel a little awkward in conversation, which gets magnified by virtual calls. I am constantly being interrupted on these calls by other family members. Sometimes they claim that our volume is too low, but my partner swears there's nothing wrong with our hardware. We've tried pulling our laptops together, and it doesn't really help. There are points where I'm practically shouting at my laptop in order to be heard. I'm feeling frustrated and ignored, and I withdraw on these calls. But then that hurts my partner, who feels that I'm not trying to be part of the family. Abstention isn't really an option for that reason. Should I try to talk to everyone? Are there coping strategies for before or after that you can recommend?
Really, you really dig the bottom of the barrel for this one.
I was gonna say this is a question and a half here.
Oh my God. Well, first of all, you know what? Let them yell. This is one thing I've learned about families. Just be quiet while they yell at each other.
Yeah.
And tell your partner to do the same thing when your family is calling, or once you're back in person. Think about the holidays, because I mean, Sean and I both have come from very loud families. Surprise, right? And
Oh man.
but you know, when we go to my family functions, it's a lot of over talking everybody. Everyone's trying to be hilarious.
Yeah.
Then we go to his family and everybody's political and they are talking, you know. And so I just find it's easier to sit back and when it's his family and let him get with it. Although I did get angry one time when it was Christmas and we were just going on and on about Donald Trump, and I just had to go outside and get some air, which made the door sound like it slammed, but I didn't slam it. But you know, during the wintertime, the doors kind of stick.
Yes.
So I pulled it shut, and I guess it sounded like a cannon went off in the house.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, I mean, it's just I just find it's better to family, you know, be in the back and wave hi, and like when they're on the call, go say hello for me, you know, and then you're done.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand why this is really an issue. I mean, I just had a board meeting this weekend, and I tell you, it's like, you know, a lot of people on different devices, different levels of devices, different levels of connections, different levels of not understanding technology or how to unmute yourself and things like that. You know, it is what it is. This is where we're at right now, and you just got to be patient and you know, yell at your screen if you need to. I mean, I don't understand why you would write your Prudy with this. Wouldn't you write like Radio Shack or something?
Oh,
I'm waiting for you to tell me that Radio Shack isn't around anymore.
Oh no, I thought you were waiting for me to laugh.
No.
Well, good. Then
you never laugh at anything that I say or do.
Well, that's because you're not the funny.
Unless, you know, I'm in pain, then you laugh uncontrollably.
Yeah, that's true. I do like watching you in pain.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of that, they were playing a game on the Worst Chefs where they had to. It was kind of like an obstacle course, and you had to jump in between like little areas where you had to kind of climb over holding a pancake, and it was ridiculous and dumb, you know, kind of like camp games. But one guy fell, and oh my God, it looked so painful, and I laughed.
Well, as long as you're not really hurt, I laugh too sometimes.
But the weird thing is I cannot watch America's Funniest Home Videos.
I
because
know.
to me it just seems like, how can you laugh at that poor woman? She's probably hurt. And of course they always say nobody was hurt or killed in any of these. It's like, killed? That's an option?
All right.
Oh my God.
I don't want to see that.
Yeah. So what did dear Prudy say?
Oh, well, what did she say?
Yeah,
I don't know if I really care. She said, what your partner has done to foster a welcoming attitude toward you during family events, aside from saying, no, your volumes are normal, and declaring they're hurt if you suggest sitting out the next call. Does your partner speak up on your behalf when your relatives interrupt you, when their relatives interrupt you? Do they make connections or suggest topics of mutual interest between you and their family members in order to spark conversation? Regular participation in virtual gatherings every 2 weeks strikes me as fairly intensive, good faith effort to be part of the family. So I think you can push back against your partner's claim that anything less than perfect attendance is a problem. The real problem is that your partner isn't helping you. Find a solution to your frustration. They mustn't bark at their family in order to help you out either. Multi-participant video conversations can be difficult for a whole host of reasons, and that might all have a history of cheerfully interrupting one another without intending disrespect, but incorporating you and your non-cheerful relationship to interruption into these conversations is not possible either, and your partner should be looking for ways to smooth things over when you've tried and failed to finish a complete sentence.
This is a lot of horseshit. This is like trying to make something out of nothing. Seriously, something out of nothing.
Right. Oh, hey Chubbs, if you want a free trip to Italy post-COVID, would you go?
Of course, why wouldn't I?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
It's free. I said yes.
Okay.
Well, would you?
Probably.
And this is where you've lost weight, you feel comfortable riding on a plane. And remember,
Oh, well then hell yeah.
this is I don't know if you realize, but Italy is probably about a 10-hour, 12-hour flight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's 12 hours on a plane.
Yeah.
Oh, I did.
Oh no, because it's a free trip. You know, it could be a cruise. Although, frankly, after COVID, who wants to go on a cruise?
Okay, girl. Yeah, but if it was a cruise, then you would be boarding in New York, so you're still going to get on a plane.
Well, could be a cruise to Cancun.
No, it's Italy.
No,
it's
get
Italy.
It, get it.
You already heard
it. To Cancun. Never mind. All right, hey, Chubbs, do you own a dildo?
Not anymore.
Yeah, me neither.
Let me just say that it died.
Oh.
While in use.
Now this is a dildo, not while you're vibrating.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Dildo. No, I don't have a dildo.
Tommy cried the day his vibrator broke down. All right. Hey, this one, let's see, what's in your lunchbox? This one comes from Mr. Moose, and it's ordered half rack of pork ribs today. Sweet barbecue sauce on a very smoky meat. Side of fries and slaw. And that is beautiful. It makes me actually want some really good barbecue. I don't care for the barbecue place down here, even though everyone says it's like one of the best.
It's weird when barbecue is, well, first of all, it depends on the kind of barbecue sauce they use.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes a huge difference. And it's so weird because like we have this one place near us, and Sean loves the greens, and I hate the greens.
Mm-hmm.
And most of their sides, I don't like their sides, but their chicken and their sauce and all their meats are really good, but their sides suck. And I really want sides. I like sides at a barbecue place because it's really savory, stuff that's bad for you. It's things like macaroni and cheese and it's I guess it's not all bad for you. I mean, the greens and even the black brown red beans and rice are not bad for you. But I mean, I like to have really good sides, and I'm disappointed when they're not good.
Yeah, I have been to. I almost went into song again, but I've been to, let's say, Boston Market. I've been to this barbecue place down here that's supposed to be really like the best, authentic, blah blah blah. And I've been to KFC and a number of other places locally.
Did you say KFC?
Yeah, I'm just throwing them in there because to make my point. But I've been through to like a lot of these places and their sides, they have the worst macaroni and cheese I've ever tasted. I have never had a really good mac and cheese from any restaurant, anything out there. It is
Why
awful.
is that? Why is that? And it's macaroni and cheese is one of the most popular side dishes.
Yes.
Why can't anyone get it right?
It's awful.
Yeah.
All of those places and more. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm confused on that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, currently, LGBTQ people of color in America have a disproportionately high rate of new HIV infections. Golden Rule Services of Sacramento, along with the HIV Planning Council, want you to know about an important tool in preventing you from contracting HIV. Pre-exposure prophylaxis, aka PrEP, is a medication proven to be 99% effective in preventing HIV infection. To learn more about PrEP, call your local sexual health clinic in Sacramento County, California. Contact Golden Rule Services at sacgrs.org to get started on protecting your sexual health. Now, for those of you who aren't able to watch the video, Tom has just had sex with one of the plants that he so diligently brought up from little seedlings.
And then hacked to death in the second bedroom.
There you go. There's that. All right. On to current topics. A trans woman arrested for storming the Capitol demands to be let out of jail for her own safety. Jessica Watkins, a member of the extremist group the Oath Keepers, believed that the President of the United States was calling upon her. So many things wrong with that story. A gay campground announces they will ban trans men so that they can manage the atmosphere. The event is bringing attention and scrutiny to the Midwest LGBTQ camping community. That is the stupidest damn thing. Why? I don't even care if you're an all nudist gay campground. That makes no fucking sense to ban trans guys.
It's just it's okay. What they said was when the what were the people, the Republicans, remember they came in back about 12-16 years ago. They were against certain money, you shouldn't spend money on this and that. That group that came in, well, they came in and they started small. They came in at the school board level, at the dog catcher level, all these low grade state, county, city jobs, so they could work their way up into bigger, the Senate seats and Congress and that kind of thing. So that's the same thing they do here. They start on things like fucking campgrounds, because that's something that is under control by probably a group of same mind thinking people. And so what they do is they start breaking down everything from the bottom and start working their way up to making something more, let's say, local and or national kind of bullshit. So that's why they do it. I mean, that's why it sounds like, oh, this is ridiculous. Campgrounds, but then it's campground and then it's playgrounds. And then it's gyms or basketball courts and public sports areas, and it just builds up and builds up and builds up until this becomes something that they've got a following for. It's terrible.
I'm really tired. I am, well, I'm beyond tired, and I always have been, but the level of trans hate and bullshit and attacks that are constant right now are just, I am so over them, and I don't know.
And it seems so petty too. It's
Yeah,
just, it's so like, really, is this what you're really wasting your energy on? And
mm,
it's like, oh yeah, they love it. They love to do this because they feel like they're fighting for their freedoms by taking others' freedoms away.
yeah.
And it's crazy, but this is how they do it,
Mm,
you know. And that's why the people are saying Democrats, just because you got Joe Biden and you got Kamala Harris, and where everything seems focused right now, it could be a complete turd in a toilet in 2 years if we lessen our vision of what's going on.
right.
So you got to be really careful on this because it will turn around so quickly, just like it did when you got Obama in there. And by, that was 2008. By 2010, Mitch McConnell had taken over the,
Yeah.
and it was terrible. Those last, 6 years were not fun.
No.
So you got to keep your eye on the prize.
It's like these little places. They're like, oh well, we can handle gay people now, but we can't stand them all them trans people.
Well, it's because
We're okay with butt sex, but if you want to chop it off, then we can't stand that.
Well, but no, I think it's really going to be more. I know they always seem to focus on the it's the males to females. That's what bothers us. But what it really is the female to male,
Uh,
because those trans men are hot, so often very hot, especially when you get these trans men with the beards, and it built up built up their muscle area, and they really come across as guys, and that scares straight men. It scares them a lot
because they're way more butch than they are.
well, and because it's like, well, I'll tell you, like on the what is the gay section? What's that? Your show that you do after
Oh
this?
yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
When you're looking through there and you go, wow, it's a trans man.
Yes.
Because it's always like this a half body shot, and you see like this gorgeous face, and then and even hairy chest sometimes.
Yeah.
And then you get down and it's like, oh wow, that's a vagina.
Yeah.
And that's gonna scare the fuck out of straight men.
Yeah.
I tell you.
I get that. And one of the things that we made a conscious effort of is that on that other podcast that I do, we do not discriminate with that at all.
Well, and I'm glad you don't, because I think it's kind of fun.
Yeah, and we love our trans men, and we love posting pictures on our Twitter of the trans guys in full hotness. So yeah,
last week.
But I get it. Sometimes when you're not expecting it, it can be kind of like oh wow.
Yeah, and especially if you if you're a straight guy that happens into the wrong place, let's say.
Or they get turned on by it, which is even worse in their mind.
Right. That's the whole problem is that, and then of course it's boys dressing like girls, which has always been unacceptable by straight people.
Yeah.
But anyway, on last week on The Good Doctor, they had a trans couple. Well, they had a couple where it was a F to M, and but they were a gay couple. And the FTM character had become pregnant.
Nice.
Which is sounds something else like I wrote recently. But and then there's last night on American Idol, there's a young man named Ace who was a trans man who just sang delightfully. I thought that they would let him go through, but honestly, I think the judges were afraid for him because he was very timid, and I think that you got to, especially when you're dealing with what trans people deal with, you cannot be timid. You need to have your shit in order in your head on how to deal with people.
Right.
You have enough problems dealing with the changing of the hormones in your system. You don't need to have the general public fucking in your face.
Right. So. And fame is a brutal machine, and you get thrown into that, and you're
and I was sad because he had a voice that was really, it reminded me of, and I don't know who it was, a female back from the 90s, but remember those every once in a while we get a couple women who would sing incredibly informative songs, interesting. Sometimes it's just a guitar or a piano. It was kind of like the Joni Mitchells of the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah. Kind of characters, and that's who he sounded like. So I was like, oh, this is going to be good. I can't wait to hear more. Oh, you're not letting him in. But
hopefully he'll get some notice. And
he is. I just saw it on Facebook today.
Cool.
The Advocate is talking about how everyone's talking about him today. So good for him.
Sometimes it's even better not to go through the shows, but if you get seen and get your career going a different way, you may have more control over it.
Right. Well, it's the notoriety comes no matter what.
Yeah.
So if he's able to start hitting this summer the fairs, that's all a lot of these American Idol people end up getting anyway, is doing a lot of the, especially the gay and lesbian or adjacent friendly people who do that. They go through the just like what the drag queens do. They go through all the summer fairs, especially. Yeah. I mean, everybody's got their parade week with their bars that has the big entertainment, and it's like we do here in Sacramento. So
speaking of that, real quick, I want to just throw out there that we're very sad to see that Ari Gold passed. He had leukemia, and he was in remission for a while, but I guess it caught back up to him because but he was only 47. And it was really sad. He really played a huge part in creating a road for independent gay artists out there to really, have what am I saying? Not a genre, but he basically, blazed the path for other artists to have, to be a thing.
And like so many people who blazed the path, you might not even have heard of him, but the influence that he made on independent gay music was without question.
Yeah. So, all right, last story. The Biden administration is planning to push for allowing gender-neutral markers on federal IDs. Biden promised to affirm one's gender marker and expand access to accurate identification documents as president. His administration is preparing to follow through. So, yay. In fact, I believe they said that they were looking at international passports, putting it on there as well. That's, really something. All right. Send us an email at chubsgonewild@gmail.com. Leave us a comment on chubsgonewild.com. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/chubsgonewild. Please consider becoming a patron of the show over at patreon.com/mattburlingame. And you can find some new content over there as well. Find Tom's movie and TV reviews over at swannerandjudd.com for the podcast written word. Find them in iTunes, iHeartRadio, and print and the Anchorage Press. Also, find out more about my books over at justkisstheguy.com and check out my other podcast at biggaysexshow.com. And give us a call at
408-69-CHUBS.
Woohoo! And with that, we thank you for joining us for another week, and We will catch you later. We love you.
Bye.